Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Johanna. For those of you who are new here, welcome. For those of you who are returning, welcome back. In today's video, I'll be doing my completed pages for September 2021. And if that is of interest to you, please stay tuned. Okay, so a few caveats. The video is going to be long, so you may want to pause it right now, get a snack, get comfortable, maybe put me on in the background as you color or journal. If you've got a long card ride, just listen to me and then come back and watch the video again so you can see the completed pages, because engagement. But yeah, it's going to be long. I don't know how many pages I have completed because I don't count that. I don't know how many books I've done. I don't count that either. But when I finish a page, I take a picture if I need to send it to someone. And then I tab it and then I put it sideways on my bookshelf right in front of me. I will insert a new picture because we've gotten to 3 shelves now, guys. It was inevitable, but still, we're at 3 shelves now. But the books I have turned around are on 2. And so, yeah, it's going to be long. Some of them I'll definitely have a lot more to say about than others. But yeah, just know. I wanted to start with this one, Mythomorphia. This is by Kirby Roseanne, and this is the one whip that I'm going to show you. It is a work in progress. I actually did do a video on how I chose this and why. I am doing a 12 pencil challenge that Miss Evers of Evers Color Corner did last month. I mentioned that I was interested in it because it does sound like an interesting challenge. And then on Instagram recently, she tagged me and she's like, so what then? I mean, she didn't say that exactly, but that's how I heard it. And so I decided to do this. And while I was editing in YouTube, I edit the actual video in iMovie. But when I get the timestamps for videos that I put timestamps on, this is not going to be one of them, I watched it on a PC or laptop. And I noticed something when I was watching it, and it helped me figure out, one, how I'm going to deal with this little bit of a background without having to color it in, but it also made me laugh. And so what this picture basically told me, well, let me just tell you what the background's going to say, because I am going to do some journaling. Oh, baby, you've got what I need, but you say he's just a friend. You say he's just a friend. Oh, baby, you've got what I need, but you say he's just a friend. You say he's just a friend. And that is from Biz Markie, Just a Friend. Now you're like, what in the world was that? Okay, so I saw this on screen. This is not a 2-page spread to me because this I see as clouds, and this, it goes right into this tree. She's a dryad. She's like, look, I'm super cute. I've got a branch for a hand. But then I saw them looking at each other, because again, I'm only focused on a 1-page spread because that's all I can do with 12 pencils. On screen, I see that they're there, but she's a bit nonchalant. She has absolutely friend-zoned this guy. And then that song popped up in my head. So he's not looking stoic because there's an army. He's looking stoic because for eternity, he's looking at his lady love. And she has absolutely friend-zoned him. And you're like, but why the song? I'm like, okay, guys, I shared that because why should it only be on loop in my head? Why? Now, anytime I see this picture, anytime I see this book, anytime I see Kirby Roseanne, honestly, anytime I see a video from Evers Color Corner, that song's going to pop in my head. Thank you, Evers. And that is my whip for Kirby Roseanne's Mythomorphia. All right, now this is the book that is absolutely going to change your life. It's going to change your perception of coloring. It's just basically going to make you a better person. Now there's 2 pictures in here. The first one is actually not so earth-shattering, although I do like it. This is Josh Lee's Little Fantasy, but it's the second one It's the second one, guys, that you are going to love. Now, this one here I did for Corey. Now, I say that because every month for the next 26 months, Corey is doing a alphabet challenge where she's challenging herself and anyone who wants to participate in using items that start with a certain letter. So for September, it was B, and she's using tools or supplies that she has that start with the letter B, like breath funners or whatever. Well, it's not something that I can do with the supplies that I have, and so I decided to take it a step further, and I'm only going to use colors that start with the letter for the month. So for this one, I used 3 alcohol markers, and that's how I plan on doing these for whatever month I can participate in, and that's just really based on my schedule. That I do a page with 3 alcohol markers that start with the letter, and then I do a page in something else that has 5 pencils that start with the letter, and I really enjoy that challenge. And so even though there looks like there's a lot more colors, that's just because I've had to layer them in order to get this sort of olivey green, because there's really just a tan, more of a yellowy tan, and then this blue color. But all of the tone here that you see is based on those 3 colors. Now, it's way more neutral than I generally would have made a page, but I love the challenge and the game aspect of it. Like, what can I do with a page with only 3 markers? And 2 of them were very similar in color, and so I didn't have a lot of tones and definition to play with. So I think this came out really nice, and I'm happy I was able to participate in September. For October, it is C for October. So for me, it's going to be any color that begins with the letter C. Now for this page, this actually was a trifecta because it hit 3 different things that I wanted to do for the month of September. So for Sarah of Chronic Coloring Down Under, she started the game Coloropoly on her channel. I said I wanted to do 3 pictures, and so one of the ones I needed to do was Chibi, which it's actually a little daunting because other than this, I don't have any other chibi book because it's not a genre that I'm generally into, so sweet. And then Amazon Tammy was doing the hashtag superheroes in September 2021. Now, I don't generally post on Instagram, but I like that this counts towards that hashtag, at least in my completed pages. And I saw Emma of Emma Colors 2020 in one of her videos say she wanted to also participate in the superheroes challenge. She needed to find a superhero, and I don't know about you, but this picture screamed Sailor Moon, and I believe she's a superhero. I reached out to Emma, we agreed, so this is the picture that we're going to do. Now, and you're probably like, how's that going to change my life? Guys, we're building. I'm telling a story. So I knew she was not going to be Sailor Moon. Now, I have dark hair when I dye it. I've had to start dyeing my hair since I was in my 20s, but yes, I have dark hair, and so I knew she wasn't going to be dark. I knew she wasn't going to be blonde. I had to look it up because this is not a cartoon or a show that I watched, but my sister did, and I wanted to emulate her around Sailor Mars. And there was a picture that I found online that had behind her sort of like a fire element. Mars is the god of war, the god of building tools and weapons, and so that makes sense. God of fire, god of war. Cool. And so what I did, instead of whiting out the moon, I just drew sort of a fire flame element, the kind you'd see like on a muscle car from the 50s. At least that's what I'm envisioning in my head. And then I went in with some yellows, some oranges, and some red. Now, mind you, the moon was the last element I did. I actually blacked out all of the butterflies because I cannot be bothered with bugs and birds. I wanted to look like there was a fire, and so the clouds definitely pull kind of red, sooty, fiery. I added these circles on glitter after the fact, and so everything else was done. She was done, background was done. I just needed to finish the moon. Well, I hated the way that looked. I'm like, okay, I finished this page. I like everything else. We can fix this. This is not a problem. And so I went in with some pencils, and I went in some dark reds, some grays, a little bit of black, just to add, to tone down some of the brighter colors, to add some soot, to add some interest, and that made it even worse. It was so horrible. I wish I had taken a picture of it. It was just so janky. Like, well, I mean, she looks so cute. If the rest of the picture was janky, then I could just call it a janky superhero and be done with it. But she's so cute. She looks so good. So I'm like, no, I'm not going to let this defeat me. And so I have some markers that I picked up from Sam's Club, which are these right here. They're permanent paint markers, and they're oil-based. So I don't know if that's like a Posca, but I thought, okay, well, I think it's like a Posca. I have some white Poscas. I actually don't know if it's like a Posca, but Poscas are opaque, and so it'll be able to get rid of all of the jankiness, and just, I'll make a yellow moon. I'll deal with it. I'll deal. And so I put some of these on. Never used these before. Why not test them out on a picture that's already going horribly wrong? Why not? Seems logical. Yeah, so maybe I didn't prep them correctly. Maybe they're not super opaque, but you can actually see all of the nonsense underneath. Yeah, it actually makes it worse. And so I'm like, okay, what can I do? Now, I have black acrylic paint. It's the only acrylic paint that I have, but I didn't want to put the moon in black. That just seemed weird. Although in hindsight, it actually probably would have been a better idea. But then I wouldn't have this amazing story that's going to change your life. And so what I did was put some Wink of Stella on it, because generally, glitter, sparkle, makes everything better. I don't even know if you can see it. And then I let it dry, closed it up, put it back on the shelf, let Emma know that I was done with it, because we were doing the butter color. And just so you know, butter color is buddy color, but it comes out like that for me, and so that's just what I call it now. And then she sent me her picture, which looked ethereal and magical, and she just seems like a really nice superhero. And then I sent her mine, and I basically told her this. So my moon is a fire moon, and it had a really good weekend, like a really good weekend. And now it's in day 3 of a medicated ointment regimen, and the itching has gone, but the scabbiness has begun. And I think when I DM'd her that visual of what this looks like to me, and tell me it doesn't look like that to you, then I think she might have thrown up a little bit. And that wasn't my intention. I wasn't trying to make my friend sick. But I mean, honestly, like with the a Biz Markie song. I know you just got it out of your head, and welcome back, there it is. But it's one of those things that you can't unsee this. I cannot unsee this. I can't actually think of Sailor Moon without seeing this. And I think it's just one of those things that sharing is caring. And guys, I care so much. I don't know if that's funny to you, but that's funny to me. And so that's my picture there of Sailor Mars and her fire moon. That's out of Josh Lee's Little Fantasy. Okay, the next book is by Kara Shershniva. It's color by color, stained glass mandala. Now, if you're wondering if all the stories are going to be like that, honestly, I don't know. I don't remember what I did this month, so they might be. You may want to plan accordingly. I am doing this as a butter color with Crafting with Christy. We completed 4 pages, and actually we will be completing this book next month. And that's actually one of the main reasons why I wanted to do this video tonight. I don't know if I mentioned it in the beginning of the video, but it's nearly 10 p.m. on a Saturday evening. I need to film this and my whole video, even though it won't go up right away, just because I want to color things, but I don't want to spoil things. And if they're in the books I'm doing, it'll spoil things. Anyway, I did this one here. This was done with Sharpie and dual hybrid metallic pens. And I don't know if you can see it, but these clovers here, I think that's what they're called. There's diamonds, spades, hearts, and clovers in a card deck. I don't know, whatever they are. the internal part of it is actually the gold metallic Sharpie. It pulls a little sooty to me, but then the outline of that and then these little diamonds here are the dual hybrid. And I really like this, and I really like using white space in my pictures. One, it's less to color, but then all of the rest of the colors really pop out. So that was the first one that I did with Christy. This one is probably my favorite picture, and just because I love how it pops. Now this is the cover picture, and these are the colors that were supposed to be used, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted it to look like a moon in the night sky, so I used blacks and dark blue alcohol markers. This was done with Ohuhu, Sharpie, Pentel Metallic, and Mondo Llama Glitter Gel. Now, obviously that's not the one I used, but there was like a 10 or 12 pack that I picked up from Target. I thought that these would be like a Stickles replacement, and I mean, they definitely give you glitter, and I love the effect. It's definitely raised, but the spout is big, so you don't get a lot of precision, and it's not as glittertastic as Stickles. But I think for the 12 piece, it's either 10 or 12 colors, it was like $5 or $7. And for the Stickles, I think for a bottle, it's like $5 or $6. So I'm definitely going to use these. It's just probably not as much as my Stickles. But I do like the effect that it gave it, because there's no other color other than the blue version of this. And then the stars are all metallic, and I love how it recedes. This is probably my favorite picture in the entire book. We also did this one here. This one, I kind of followed the color key, but I left some white spaces, and some things were supposed to be different colors, but I did my own thing. I think this is really fun and vibrant. And then the last picture we did here was this. This gives me kind of Aztec or Mayan feels. I realized a little bit earlier that I forgot some blue, but it's in my completed pages video. I'm not going to fix that. That page is done. And so we have this one, and this is the least favorite picture of mine in this entire book. I am not looking forward to this. I'll do it, but I'm not looking forward to it. We have this one, which is kind of cute, and this one, which makes me think of surfboards. And then we'll be done. If you hear random booming, there's fireworks going on because it's, I don't know why they do it. But this is Color by Colors, Stained Glass Mandala by Kira Shershniva. This one right here just came this past week, and I have this one and I have the Tiki Carla Magana book. I got this because I've been seeing Chelsea over at Chelsea Jade Murray. I think she's reinstated her channel. I just don't know if she's got her contact back up or her content back up. But I'm like, okay, I didn't know that I needed Carla Magana in my life, and then I did this picture, and I absolutely need Carla Magana in my life. I had so much fun, and that sounds weird that you can have fun with a coloring page, but I really did. I was a little intimidated, and I don't normally say that about a coloring book page, but I see so many fantastical, whimsical, amazingly glitter, over-the-top images. I'm like, can I do that? And then when I was sitting down and playing with this, I'm like, I mean, who cares if I can? Just put some color on the page. And so this, the direction it was supposed to go was pinks and greens. Now I used the Sparkle Pop Pentel pen, and the barrel is this color green. Now I've used it before and I should have known better, but it actually pulls more of like a teal color to me. And I'm like, okay, well, it pops, and because it's water-based, it makes the paper look textured, and so it makes it look like fabric, and I am absolutely loving that. I love how her hair came out. I used some Wink Estella on here, Ohuhu, Sharpie, and Tombow. This back, I just wanted to sort of tie in this color because that was the last thing that I did, but I also wanted to play off the other colors. And then because I didn't see any names in here, this beautiful, beautiful woman is Rafaela. And the thing I wrote there was, I woke up like this. This is all sass and just, ugh, she is gorgeous. I do have 3 watercolors set up with Poet. She's actually already finished 2. And so once I'm done with the videos tonight, again, I've got 1 more to go after this, then I hope I can get some coloring in. This one, I didn't think I was going to like as much, but having started with this one, now I cannot wait to start with some of these other ones. And I'm really tempted to go on Amazon and get all of the others. But like the Zan Von Zed Ladies of Leisure series, I'm going to wait till I get at least half done in these books before I get any more, just because I'm already on bookshelf 3 and I'm still expecting some books. So that was Dark Garden by Carla Magana, and it was just a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to doing more. The next book is Doodle Abentur in Land de Marchen, which is Doodle Adventure in Land de Marchen. I don't know what it says. I'm half German, but I don't read German. And I did this picture here for Olga Rani's coloring challenge, one of her weekly challenges, and the weekly challenge was water. And to me, I generally don't do backgrounds, but I think the background that I did here is amazing. It makes the picture, to me, just look even more interesting. And I love the different pops of color. I used Sharpie metallic, that's what this bucket is here. Distress ink for the back, dual hybrid, jelly roll metallic, white uniball. And again, this was for one of Olga Rani's weekly colors for water. And I am super, super, super happy the way that this turned out. I really enjoy this coloring book, as you can see. I actually have a few pictures completed in here. This is the other body color that I have outstanding with Poet Spice, but we just have an ongoing list. She's cool. She's cool. And that's the picture I completed out of here. Doodle Abentur in Land de Marchen. This is actually illustrated by Ronnie Pios, and this is a Julia Rivers coloring book. This one here is by Kira Shershniva as well. I only have 2 color by color books. I already showed you one of them. I only have 1 mandala book that I actually use. I showed you that one earlier. And so once I'm done with these, I don't know that these are anything I'm going to pick up again, just because I like seeing other people do them, but while the pictures are interesting, they're not anything I gravitate towards. This is Woman's World, and I want to say that both of these were done, yeah, for Olga Rani's challenge. So this was one of her weekly challenges, and it was Castle. Now this is a lady from Spain. That might actually be a church, but I got rid of the little baubles there. I did it pink, and everyone knows the castles are always pink. And then I just submitted that as one of my entries for that week. And for her, I did Mondo Llama, because this I actually completed during my lunch at work. I used some Sharpies and some Jelly Roll Metallic, because I do have some Jelly Roll Metallics in the office. And then this one was also for Olga Rani's challenge. The one that I just showed you was for a weekly challenge. This one was for the monthly challenge, which was Headdress. I'm not sure where she's from. The colors are not exactly the colors they're supposed to be, but I think she pops. With these, I don't always color everything in, but for her, I've wanted all the other lighter elements to pop, and that's why there's darker behind her, and I think she's really cute. Now, I'm not doing this in order, clearly, but hopefully, depending on the various challenges that Olga does, or for Coloropoly, I might find something in here. I'll be able to get this done sometime next year. I want to finish this, and it's probably going to happen sometime next year, just because I have it and I don't want it to go to waste. But again, it's not a genre that I'm leaning towards, although some of the ones I've seen recently are really cute. I would just rather enjoy it on other people's channels than add it to my arsenal. But that's Woman's World, Color by Colors book by Kira Shershniva. This was a page that I did for, well, actually, it looks like I have 2 pages in here. This is by Heidi Hornsby, Tortured Tales. Heidi has a channel here. I will link it below. Anyone that I've mentioned, I will link them below. And I did one for Sarah's Coloropoly. I had 3 pages to do for this month, or for September. One of them was chibi, one of them was nursery rhymes. Yeah, so that's this picture right here. Now, I have a lot of fantasy, I have a lot of travel. I don't actually have a lot of nursery rhyme. And this is Jack and Jill. Jack and Jill went up a hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. I believe that's a nursery rhyme. I like that it's really colorful. I like Heidi's style in here. It's whimsical, and yet it's a little, I don't want to say, there's nothing gory about this, but it's just a little skewed. And so down here I did write that it's for Coloropoly, and I love how easy this was. And this was also something that I did at work because that's where this usually is. And I used Mondo Llama alcohol markers, Sharpie, and Jelly Roll Metallic. And I also finished this one. This was actually for August, but because I have this at work, I forgot to bring it home. And so that's why I'm going to just roll it into this video. And this was for Olga Rani's, I think it was her monthly challenge, and it was for summer. This is Heidi's interpretation of Moana. It's got Pua. It's got that chicken, hey, hey, and that's the singing crab. I've seen pictures where it's red and gold, red and blue and gold, purple and blue and gold. So that was the inspiration for the color. Plus I needed it to look different from the water. But I think it looks good. And I've done a few in here. That's the first one I did. And I think I did, yeah, I did that one there. I forgot to put a blotter page, but this I'll be able to fix easily enough. And that is Tortured Tales by Heidi Hornsby. This is the Fantastic World of the Brothers Grimm, illustrated by Forrest Diver. This is another Julia Rivers coloring book, and this one was also a challenge for one of Olga Rani's, what was it, weekly challenge? Yeah, it was for Castle. So this and Woman's World I had done for that weekly challenge. Again, you can see I was doing the cloud thing, really enjoy that. And my castle is way too pink. Like way too pink, but I was kind of over it. I really liked how this came out. I actually put a base of this down, Mondo Llama acrylic paint in Mythical Unicorn. It's a shimmer paint and it gives that nice shimmer, but it's not fully opaque, so it's not a true acrylic paint, and that's fine. And then I put some white, I think Jelly Roll or Uniball over it, and then I put some silver, and then I added some elements of metallic or dual hybrid metallic pen, but I didn't let it dry before I did anything else on it. And so you can see that there's smudging there, and this one is a complete smudge, and still I submitted it. I mean, I don't know how much you guys can see it. It's very obvious to me, but it's done. It's pretty. That I could have brought down the tone more, but honestly, by the time I got to all the little fiddly bits, I was done, and I only had a week to do this. So that was another Olga Rani challenge. Because of Olga Rani, I love Sunday morning. Okay, let's be honest, it's usually early Sunday afternoon. Getting up, seeing the gallery of all of the completed pictures of the previous week, and then seeing, okay, what's the new challenge and how quickly can I get into my stash, and seeing what I can color. So I love that aspect of the Olga Rani monthly and weekly challenge. And that was my picture completed out of the Fantastic World of the Brothers Grimm by Forrest Diver. Okay, my next picture is out of Ladies of Leisure, a coloring quest by Zan Von Zed. And thank you so much, Lavella. Lavella pointed out to me, because I didn't know this and I didn't do any research, that Zan Von Zed is a female. I thought it was a dude. I don't know why, but thank you. She pointed that out to me. I do love this artist's work, and this is the other one where I want to buy the rest of what they have on Amazon, but until I do more in the 2 books that I have, I'm going to hold off on it. But the page that I did, again, for one of Olga's challenge is this, and I think she is absolutely spectacular. Pink and green is my classic color combo favorite. You ask me, pink and green, pink and green, pink and green. I am leaning a lot more towards orange and colors, or blues and reds, so I am trying to get out of my comfort zone. But when I saw her, I knew that I wanted to do her in pink and green. And on here is Ohuhu alcohol markers, Wink Stella, Castle Art pencils, Art 101 alcohol markers, and dual hybrid metallic pens. And I love the use of the Wink Stella specifically on this little thing right here because it makes it look like sheer fabric to me. I put Wink Stella on the weapon because that was the actual prompt for the week was weapon, and I think she just looks stunning, and I love what I did with her lips there. I love a dark lip on a very pale skinned person. And then for the background, yeah, I wasn't going to distinguish on the various things. Green. And that's how I approach this. I love this artwork from this artist. I think it's stunning. I find it interesting, and it's interesting in a different way from the Carla Magana books. Those books, I really want to channel my inner drag queen. That's how I'm looking at that book. I'm going to throw all kinds of mediums on it, and you can't go too far. You can make her a sparkly or whatever. These to me, I don't know why, but they just seem like strong women. Well, no, the Carla Magana books look strong women too, but just in a different way. And these, I want to make them more severe. I don't know if I'm explaining this correctly, but I love both styles and I want to do more so that I can get more books. But yeah, that's the picture that I did out of Ladies of Leisure, a coloring book by Zan Von Zed. Now this is another coloring book that I picked up in September. You're actually going to see this in my coloring book haul, which will come probably after this video. But this is The Mystical Lands of Kelswitch, Exploring the Realm. Now, I think I saw this on Coloring with Kay's channel. I don't know, sometimes the videos just kind of blur in together. But a lot of the pictures in here pull very autumn, very fall. I don't have a problem with that. But I was wondering when I did the picture that I did was, well, okay, that's great during autumn and fall, but what about the rest of the year? And so I did this in a very spring vibe because I mean, autumn and fall is just a few months out of the year. It's like with your Halloween Town and the witches books. I mean, between September and October totally makes sense, but what are they doing the rest of the year? And so I purposely chose this color palette, and the book is it's a bit sketchy, so there is some darkness to the page, but I didn't find that it detracted at all from this. So I love how this came out. On here, I used Ohuhu alcohol markers, Pentel dual hybrid metallics, Sharpies, Distress ink, and Amazon Basics. And it could be done up more, it could be more sparkly, it could be more interesting, but I really enjoy this page. And I'm actually looking forward to this book because now that I'm like, well, you know, you can do this page as a Halloween page, but wouldn't this be interesting for Christmas? What does Pumpkin Den look like in the middle of winter? And I like adding little aspects of that to it because then it just makes it interesting to me. I don't look at this as a fall or an autumnal book, but it's really just a seasonal book. I can make any season on any of these pages. Now, they do have doubles, and so that's what this little marker is here for, because this is where the doubles start. So this is The Mystical Lands of Kelswitch, and this is a Karen E. Myers coloring book. Now, as much as I like this one, I don't know that I'll be picking up any of the other ones until I'm more into it, or I've gotten more pictures completed. Again, I've got one done, so that's good, but you know, I do like to use the items that I have. Now the next one is out of Jesmyn Beckett Griffith's coloring book, A Fantasy Art Adventure. And I did this one here. And for her, she actually is a little weird for me. Now, I did base her in alcohol markers. I wanted this to be a strictly pencil book. But with the size of the picture, that's just going to be really difficult because there's so much space. If it were more detailed, then it wouldn't be so bad, at least to me, but you know, getting an even coverage, I'd like to at least try for, and so that works the best with alcohol markers. And so on this page is Ohuhu alcohol markers, Uniball white, Crayola skin tint over the Ohuhu. There's Castle Arts, Mondolama pencils, glossy accents, Wink of Stella, and dual hybrid metallic. Now the reason why she's a little weird for me is because I purposely left this section without any kind of shading because I liked how that looked. I don't think that's proper shading for hair. I think it should be a little bit more nuanced, but I've been back to this page a few times before the end of the month because I actually finished this on September 26th. And so I had a few days like, should I add more color? Should I add more shading? Wouldn't that be a little dark? But I like that patch of orange. I don't know why, but I do. And I wanted it to be a very simple, very straightforward. I know I've seen some really intricate, shaded, embellished pictures on this, but I don't want to avoid this this coloring book because I feel, okay, I'm going to have to put in 1,000% in all the pictures. I mean, but why though? I'd rather enjoy it at 50% than avoid it at 0%. Does that make sense? And then this one right here is a watercolor that I'm doing with Miss Emma for this month. And so I'm looking forward to doing this. This one actually is a little bit more intricate. There's less big, large spaces, but yet I'm still probably going to just do this base of alcohol markers just to put a lot of pigment on the page and then just do some shading and embellishment and call it a day. And I told her I'd have this done by the end of the month because actually got quite a few butters this month. Happy about it. But yeah, that is Jasmine Beckett Griffith coloring book, A Fantasy Art Adventure. This is another new one. I'll actually talk about that in my haul video, but this is Dreamland Coloring Whimsical Worlds by Renata Krawczyk. And this one I actually did two. Let me show you this one first. This one is how I'm going to approach probably a lot of the pictures. The book is very, very whimsical. So when I saw flip throughs of this, it gives me sort of Rita Berman vibes, a little bit of Emily Oldhall or Lidhall Oberg vibes, a little bit of Carla Hanson, or no, Hannah Carlzon. I'm not even going to edit that out. And so I wanted to remind myself that just because it looks like a tree doesn't mean it has to be the color of a tree. So I specifically made these just multicolored, and there's very little shading, if any. There's some sparkle on the balloons. These are squirrelfish. I don't know what these are, but I'm not going to try to be too precious or too fussed about it. There's not going to be a lot of shading, or there doesn't need to be, because it is such a whimsical, fantastical book that I can make it as complicated or as simple as I want, and I still think it's quite visually stunning. Now, I don't know if you guys picked up on this, but whenever I want to convey light, generally what I'm going to do is use a fluorescent pen to make it kind of pop. I know you could shade and you can do the thing and you can do the whatnot, but I mean, why? That's why you have fluorescent markers. But yeah, that's the first page that I did. And then Ashley of Ashley Coloring Journey. And Ashley Coloring Journey, yes. We decided to set up some watercolors, and we did it towards the end of the month. So we decided on 2 pages. So this is the one that we completed in the month of September. And she went a different way with hers. I wanted to see if I could make this, which can pull any season, to be honest, but I wanted to see if I could make it look like fall. Added the lettering there, added that little based on that one there. But what I thought was interesting, that we both blacked out the little characters here. And to be honest, because that features in quite a bit of the pictures, it's sort of like you got to find the little element. Like this one I would leave, but in some of them where they're little, I might just black it out because it just makes it stand out more. Like, I mean, did you notice that one there? Than if I tried to color all of the little spaces. But I noticed that in her picture too, but I forgot to remark upon that. And then what we're going to be working on for October is this picture here. And I don't know if I'm going to do this in a Halloween way. I mean, that would be interesting as a river of blood. I don't know if I'm going to do this in an autumnal way. I don't know what colorway I'm going to do yet, but this I told her I'd also have done by the end of the month. Any watercolors that I have, I'm going to have done by the end of the month. It might be a lot sooner than that, but at least they'll know. But that is Dreamland, Coloring Whimsical Worlds by Renata Krawczyk. This is another new book that I picked up. I actually have a flip through of this on my channel. I have two. This is the only one I was able to get into, and this is Autumn is My Favorite Color, illustrated by Jen Katz. This is actually from Etsy. Any of the other books I mentioned are from Amazon, and I completed this page right here. And to me, I was actually inspired by a few people. So for the book itself, this one and the other one, I was inspired by Jamie because I saw the other one on her channel. I was completely literally enabled by Poet Spice because she sent me some gift cards, or she sent me a gift card, and I was able to get this one and the other one. But I was also inspired by Erica over at Elm Colors because she recently did, I believe it was her Hannah Carlzon double page spread that looks like the perfect transition between summer and fall, where you've got some cool tones but you've also got some warm tones, and I was really going for that here, and I really like it. It's single-sided paper, it's kind of thick, and while there is some bleed through of the alcohol markers that I use, and of course I used a blotter sheet, it actually doesn't bleed through as much as you would expect with alcohol markers. So I might test some water mediums in here. I don't know. I did a little bit of shading, and then I actually added this box here. In here is Sharpie, Tombow, Pentel, Dual Hybrid Metallic, Crayola, I think Crayola pencils? No, Crayola markers. I'll need to write that down. Metallic pen, and then Erogetin pencils. And then I just added my name there. I'm really happy with that, and I do want to do more in these. The next one I'll work in is the other one because I do like to have at least one completed page in all of my books. But yeah, that is Autumn is My Favorite Color, illustrated by Jen Katz. I did complete a page in here. This was actually kind of a long whip. This is Kirby Rosanna's Worlds Within Worlds, and this was a Buttercolor with Poet Spice, and I did this one here. This one I did quite a bit of the elements in Gansai Tambi, so I don't know if you can see, but the mushroom here and these here are a bit metallic. There's a bit of a sheen. These definitely pull more glittery. This definitely pulls more metallic. By the time I got to the mushrooms, I was kind of over this page because there's actually a lot of detail in here. And so I just made them all purple with a little bit of shading, used some distress ink on the background, and just a little pops of color here and there. It's a little cohesive with the coloring palette by ways of purples and oranges and reds. And I like how it came out, but for a while I was like, ugh, kind of done with this page because I actually started this in July. But yeah, that's what I did out of this book right here, and that was a buddy color with Poet from Worlds Within Worlds by Kirby Rosannas. Now this is a new to me book. This is not a coloring book. By the time that this video goes up, I will have done a flip through of this. This is like the Ink House, where it's actually a storybook, but I do plan to color in this, and I did complete this page right here. On here I used Erogetin, and as I mentioned in that flip through video, I probably will use Erogetin throughout, and I'll only color where there's actually drawing. So like this, I wouldn't do a background, and for me that'll make the book cohesive, because that's going to be what carries page to page, because he's not going to be wearing the same outfit in every single page. I don't want to do that. But that is Together by Luke Adam Hawker. I did pick this up from Barnes and Nobles. I'm really excited to work in this. It is a hardback book, and if I can find it, I will link this in the description box below. This is the last one for bookshelf 2. We still have another bookshelf to go. I did finish another buddy color with My Girl Poet out of Camille D'Arco's pop manga coloring book, and we did this page right here. And so for the background, I used some stencil work. I specifically chose this stencil because it's such a contrast to what the imagery is. In this page, I used dual hybrid metallic, distress ink, stencil, Amazon Basic, luminance pencils from Caran d'Ache, and Inktense. I like how colorful it is. I like how metallic it is. It was one of those that I started and kind of lost steam, but then adding some of the metallic elements and whatnot really just helped pull it all together. But yeah, that was the page that I completed out of this coloring book right here. Okay, so we're on bookshelf number 1. It looks like there's 2, 4, 6, 7 books to go. I think that's what I'm counting. So I completed a picture here in Reptiloid's coloring book by Vassal Psycho. And I did this one here. This was for Olga Rani's monthly prompt headdress, and definitely an interesting headdress. And when I saw this page, I thought of the song from The Witcher, toss a coin to your Witcher. Now actually, I can't think of a lyric, or I can't think of the melody for that, but that's what made me think of this page. And so I really like how this came out. On here are Ohuhu pastels, Sharpie, Castle Art pencils, and yeah, some dual hybrid metallic, but I didn't write that down. And that one actually, it makes it, this one looks toned and I think very interesting. This just looks a little crazy, but that's the picture I completed in here. And I do have a buddy color set up with Emma, Erica, and Poet. We're going to do a specific color palette, but we get to choose whatever picture we want. And that's Reptiloids by Vassal Psycho. The next picture I finished was in here, Mein Sommer Spaziergang by Rita Berman. This was also an ongoing whip and buttercolor with Poet Spice, and I did this one here. The background is like that because I had some ink left over on my blender brush and I didn't want to waste it, and so I just put it on here. And then I came back and I didn't know the color palette that I wanted to use, so I just went with orange and it just kind of built out from there. I'm waiting for the new Rita one. I'm a little fussed about that, but yeah, I'll talk about more of that in the September haul video. But that's the butter color that I completed with butter. No, that's the butter color that I completed with Poet for this month in Rita Berman's Mein Sommer Spaziergang. I completed a picture out of here. If you're new here, I got a misprinted cover. This actually should be on the back. This actually should be on the front. I find that hilarious. That's sort of the vibe of my channel. And so I kept it because I don't see anything wrong with the inside of the book. And I actually completed this page right here. And I love how this pops. I actually started this in July, finished it this month. And I finished it because it would go towards Olga Rani's headdress challenge for the month. And I love all of the summary aspects of here. I'm actually surprised that I colored the bug. Generally birds and bugs I would black out. That wouldn't make sense here because the background is black, but I think she is really pretty. I use Lumi pencils, Mondo colored pencils, Crayola color pencils, Tombow water pens, water brush pens, and Erogitins. And this was for Olga Rani's Find in Color Headdress Monthly Challenge. I did a picture out of Luna, and this is also by Maria Trolle, and I completed this. This again was for Olga Rani's weekly challenge for water, and she did specify it had to be like an ocean, a sea, a river. It couldn't be like a water out of a cup. And so I did do 2 quotes here because I didn't want to do a background, but I did want to take away some of the space. The first quote says, "The sea, once it casts its spell, holds one in its net of wonder forever." And that was by Jacques Cousteau. And then a quote by Robert Weiland reads, "The ocean stirs the heart, inspires the imagination, and brings eternal joy to the soul." Now, I know people who that's meaningful to them. I live in Hawaii. We're literally surrounded by the ocean. The ocean's not a very calming place to me, although I do like it, but it smells like fish. So there's that. I did complete this with Derwent Inktense, Erogetin, Pentel Dual Hybrid Metallic, Tombow water-based markers, and Uniball Gold. And again, this was for Olga Rani's water challenge. I am not a fan of coloring water, so the only reasons I'm going to do it is either because I'm doing a butter color and someone else is going to color water, or it's for some kind of challenge that I'm doing for the week or the month. But yeah, that is Luna coloring book illustrated by Maria Trolle. Next is out of Opal's Moments Wholly for Yourself. I did do a butter color with Poet Spice, and funny story, I thought this was the page that we were working on. I think she's beautiful. It's the young girl in her traditional Korean hanbok. It's not exactly a carbon copy, but I think it's very reminiscent. I think the Erogetin pencils work a treat on this paper, and I just like how soft and neutral it was. And then she sent me her completed page. I'm like, wait, what? So the page we were supposed to do together, which she completed, was this one. So this is going to be a butter color that I'm doing with her for this month, the month of October, and it's still pertinent. It actually also goes to her Comfy and Cozy 2021 hashtag, and basically it can be any picture that you color that is comfy or cozy and your interpretation of that, and so this definitely works. And so yeah, I'm glad I did her. I like to do at least one Opal page a month. I do have all three, so this is the one I'm going to be working out of for next month. And that is Opal's Moments Wholly for Yourself. Okay, I think we're in the home stretch. Just a couple of more. This is Erie, I believe, Travel Around the World. And I did do this picture here. I think she looks stunning. This was again for another Olga Rani challenge, just like the one from the Zan Von Zed book. The theme was weapon, and so I did 2 pictures that week, and I love the greens, I love the blues, I love the metallic. I'm sure I could have done a little bit more, but you know what? I think she's pretty. She's one of my favorite completed pictures out of the Erie books. And I used Mandalama pencils, Castle Art pencils, Pentel Dual Hybrid Metallic, Crayola Metallic. Oh yeah, I bought some Crayola Metallic pens that kind of work like the dual hybrid. That's right. And then the Caran d'Ache blender for some of the elements here. And I think she's just really pretty. And I'm happy that I was able to finish an Erie page, although the next book is also an Erie book. So yeah, 2 Erie pages this month. And this is, I think it's something like Travel Around the World by Erie. The other page that I did was also in Erie, and I think this is her Fairy Tales one. And this one actually fits 2 bills. So I mentioned earlier that I had 3 prompts for Sarah's Coloropoly. The other one was Fairy Tale, so I did choose Puss in Boots. But I also used this as my 5 pencil challenge for Corey's B is for September. That's at least my interpretation of how I'm going to be doing her challenge. And so there's actually only 5 Prismacolors on here. 1024, 1102, 1080, 997, and 943. And I really enjoy how he came out. I had to be very judicious with the 12 pencil challenge I'm doing in the Mythomorphia. Is that it? Mythomorphia? Yeah, I chose pencils because I had not sharpened them. That was how I chose that palette. This one, I needed to be very judicious because I was only using 5 pencils. And so I wanted to be able to contrast, but also do a little bit of blending. I think it looks really good. And the Prismas, I think, worked well. I don't have a problem with white space poking through that has never bothered me. So I don't know if you'd be able to get a fully burnished look on here. To be honest, I didn't try, but I love this page, and I love that I was able to do another eerie page. I actually did this one first before I did the one I just showed you. And I just, Eerie and Opal are probably top 3 of my favorite coloring artists. Although Carla Magana and Zan Von Zed are making a fast ascent up my favorite artist lists. It's nearly 11 p.m. and my throat is getting sore. Hi guys, Editing Johanna here. So I realized when I was editing the video that I missed 2 books, so I wanted to go ahead and talk about them. This is Hannah Carlzon's Tales from the Forest Kingdom, and I did complete a page for September in here. This was for Olga Rani's Headdress Challenge. And I didn't do these at the same time. Obviously, this I did back in July. And so I wanted to tie the pictures together without making them look like carbon copies. So I did that in 2 ways, at least in my mind. I did that by using similar colors for the background, as well as adding some Gansai Tambi. On this side, the Gansai Tambi paint is kind of flicked on by way of the blues here. On this one, I painted it on her dress. I like that it isn't evenly coated because it gives the dress some texture without having me to do any additional work. Probably about 50% of the way in, I got bored with the picture, and so I left it alone, then came back to it right before the month end, and then did some more. Was still bored with it, and so I called it a day. I think it looks good. I think it ties in well, but I'm of the opinion that I'm not going to, go full out on a picture to try to make it better, because better is relative. I mean, better than what? I think it looks good now, and I wouldn't enjoy myself, so just adding more to be in some kind of competition that doesn't exist. Yeah, I'm just gonna do what I want until I don't want to do it anymore, and then call it a day. I do have pictures where I feel challenged by way of, it's not that I'm bored with it, but it's not turning out the way that I want to, but I'm not going to give up. And those I find interesting. But once the boredom settles in, I do one of 2 things. I'll either put it to the side, come back to it and see if I'm still bored with it, finish up whatever I feel like doing and then calling it a day, or coming back to it and then looking at it with fresh eyes and like, oh no, okay, this is interesting. So proceeding that way. But I don't feel the need to waste time on a picture if it's not bringing me any kind of joy, or if my willfulness hasn't kicked in and I'm just doing it now because I feel like I'm in a challenge. But yeah, it's this page right here from Hannah Carlzon's Tales of the Forest Kingdom, and that the bug page is actually one of my favorite pages because of the pooping bug, and I did it as a butter with Emma. Yeah, one of my favorite pages. And the other page I forgot to show you is in this Joanna Basford's World of Flowers, and it's this page here. This page I'd actually shown you in 2 different videos because I had tested out some Mondo Llama pencils. This one was done in their skin tone set. This one, and then actually the rest are a combination of both sets, were done in just their regular 24-piece set. I have to say, I like the feeling of the skin tone set better. Evers of Evers Color Corner had done a mythographic page. I talk about that. I'll go ahead and link her channel below. You can check that out. But in her comment section, people had remarked that the 72 count set from Mondo Llama, and that's a brand that's in Target, were actually, it seemed better. And I have to agree. This 24-piece set, I mean, obviously it puts pigment on the page, so that's not where the problem is. For me, it's how the pencil feels. The skin tone set definitely feels creamier, but it is more expensive. So for the 12-piece skin tone set, I think it was like $5 or $7, which for me is a good price. I mean, not considering the per pencil price, but I'm always looking for a good skin tone set. The 24-piece set that I purchased, regular price, $3. The 72-piece set that you can get at Target.com or in your local Target store, It's my lunch break. I'm just trying to get through it so I can go back to work. Costs like between $25 and $30. So there definitely is a significant price difference. Am I going to get that other set? No. Between these two sets, I've got more than enough colors for what I want to use it for. But yeah, I really enjoy doing this page. I don't like bugs, but I don't mind the more whimsical bugs. This background was done with distress ink and a stencil, and it looks uneven because it's actually a very small stencil that I had to keep placing all over the place. And because it looked really patchy, I did frame the picture out and then added a quote. And so even though you see like these are bugs on a wall, it actually, the patchiness just kind of seems like, oh, it's just an old wall. At least it does to me. And then I found this quote online. So yeah, I wanted to show you these two pictures, and now I'm going to get back to the completed pages video for September 2021. We only actually have one more book to talk about, and we're nearly there. All right, guys. So this is Fairy Tales, I think it is, and that's by Erie. And the last one I did is out of Rabbit Girl, and I don't know who this is by. Oh, Rabbit Girl by Kim Kyung-suk. And I picked this up from Amazon. I picked this up because my girl Poet has this book, and we actually set up 2 watercolors. That's just on our ongoing list. All of the outstanding watercolors that we have, there's no deadline. I like to do 2 or 3 within a month because we're adding the Carla Magana. It'd actually be a little bit more than that because those are quick colors. But the page I did was this one right here. And I've done this in the past where I want to test out all of my different pencils. And so every little item here is a different pencil in my arsenal. And on this Rabbit Girl paper, at least for me, the way that I like to use pencils, I thought the Amazon Basics worked beautifully. I thought my Brut Funners worked beautifully, and I thought my Prismas worked beautifully. The Black Widows as well, but I don't have a huge color palette from the Black Widow set. If I had to choose, I'd probably choose either Brut Funners or Amazon Basics in this coloring book. And then this middle section right here, that's all Amazon Basics. But I like doing this. I like testing my different pencils whenever I have a book like this. And this one actually is sort of a hybrid because there are pictures that I want to use only pencils, but then there are pictures where like this seems like a throwaway page, so I could use alcohol markers if I wanted to. And I like the contrast of that. But I do want to, in all of the books, I want to do some pencil work in, do one of these tester pages, and just give myself, so I don't have to remember anything. It's in the book that I'm actually going to be using. So yeah, that was a picture I did, and I still need to earmark the pictures that Poet and I are going to do. But that is the final page to show you in this video, and that is Rabbit Girl by Kim Kyung-suk. I believe that Sarah from Chronic Coloring Down Under is waiting for this book, so once she gets it, I know Poet and her will be doing a watercolor, but I'll probably also reach out and do one as well. Okay, I don't know if I have enough steam for a second video. I might just eat some ice cream and it's going to help soothe my throat, but that's it for me for now. And as always, aloha.